Aloha again, beautiful souls. Today I want to talk to you about abusive relationships. And what I say as abusive is mental abuse, where it actually changes the thinking in yourself. There's emotional abuse, where you feel sadness and pain. And I know those things come from your mind, but I have a heart, a feeling, and an energy here that gets affected, and that's what I consider emotional pain. And then also physical abuse, and they can really be grouped in the same category because abuse is abuse. There's various degrees of it, but it's still abusive behavior in an abusive relationship. So I'm going to talk to you about 4 different topics today, and I will put the timestamps for each in the description in case you want to just jump ahead to what interests you the most. The first is, what is it? How do you define it? And what are the behaviors? The second topic will be the stages. What are the stages? If you find yourself in and you want to know what are the stages, then how do you survive or thrive? How do you get out? What do you do? Once you've realized this, and one of the stages is that, then how do you get away? And then finally, the most important one for me is how to prevent it from occurring again. So I have some thoughts and ideas based on my experiences throughout my lifetime and in this major relationships I've been in. Many more have been on an abusive type of relationship than on the good. So I realized some things about myself being an empath and who I am, and I've worked on making changes, and it's really taught me a lot about different behaviors to look for and the different experiences that were repeated in each instance, in each relationship. So that's what I did. I gathered all my information based on things I've read and also my experience, and I'm coming up with this little 4-part video. So topic number 1 is, what is it? Well, first of all, everyone is susceptible to abuse because sometimes it can be difficult to initially detect. So knowing that, let's look at some of the indicators of if you're in one, and then some of the behaviors to look for in a partner. So first of all, if you're in one, do you find yourself unhappy, often crying, with low self-esteem, and in a relationship that there's just something lacking? You're not being fulfilled or loved, or there's just a disconnection in where the relationship is. Something is missing. And so what you want to do is, first you want to look to outside influences. Okay, what's happening? Is it at your job? Is it where you live? Is it your family? Is it yourself? And is it your partner? Look to all these things. Discover what's going on in your life to guide you to what's really creating the issue. And if you come down to it, once you look to yourself, it truly makes you realize your worth. And then you're better able to see if it's coming from something outside of you or within you. So once you do that self-check, then, of course, look to your partner. And you want to look for these type of behaviors. You first of all, weigh both of you. What's happening in the relationship? Who's making most of the decisions? Who always wins the arguments? Is there any collaboration? Is there any sacrifice on both parts of, giving in? And weigh them and see if it's balanced. Then, okay, maybe there's something else you need to work on. What I'm talking about right now is a relationship that's not balanced. It's not balanced. You're not having your say. You're not having worth. You don't feel as an equal. You don't feel like you're treated as an equal. You don't feel like you're treated well. So when you find that, you'll say, okay, then you can continue on and look at specific types of behavior. Some of the things you might see in an abusive relationship are humiliation. If someone is insulting you in public, It can be saying things to you, or it could be actually shutting down and ignoring you because they're mad or upset or angry. That's a type of humiliation, and that's really a type of abuse, in a sense, a mental abuse. No one deserves that type of behavior. Next comes verbal insults, and these are in no order. I want you to understand these are not in the order of which they occur. No, these are just different types of behaviors you can look at to determine if you might be in a abusive relationship. So verbal insults like name calling, criticism of your looks, your intelligence, your friends, where you live. So look for those type of insults. That should not be present in a healthy relationship. Next is if you are question your memory or your recall of events or things. You see them that they had happened a certain way, but your partner, they see them completely different. They don't agree. They see it as something else. And then you start to question, okay, you might at that time question your own reality, but it's an indicator to look of, well, you're recalling different things, and they will usually be the one to question your recall of the events. Next is physical violence. That's the easiest one to see. Bruises, broken teeth, black eyes, broken arms. There's a range of type of abuse that it can occur. And physical abuse in my situations started when it has started in two of the relationships. It started subtly. It didn't come all right out. It was a little bit of aggressive behavior coming at me, raising the arms, maybe some kind of just aggressive behaviors. My first relationship, it went on to being physically abusive to my body. The current relationship, I've learned to. The first relationship became physically abusive to the body. The second time it's occurred, it has happened where I realize and I see the indicators of the abuse starting, and I've learned to do things to try to prevent that. So, and I'll talk about that later on. But, so physical violence, it starts off with actions and aggressive actions and behaviors, and then it can get to grabbing, to slapping, and then, further on punching, kicking, and a whole range of just horrible actions toward your person. A blame placement is what I'm going to talk about next. When things go wrong, you're blamed, even on the most mundane things that there could be no way that you're involved, like your partner's relationship with family members. That's not you're not involved in that unless you have a specific thing you've done that you know of. You're not to blame, but blame could be placed on you when something goes wrong. The blame is placed, and it just is like, that can't be my fault. That's just an accident, or that just happened. But you'll get oftentimes blame placed on you. So next, manipulating behaviors. Why all these things sound so manipulating, and there are manipulating behaviors can be something like passive aggression, and expecting things of others based on asking. But it's this expectation and doing it in a way that you have to do it. There's all kinds of manipulation that can be seen or unseen. A lot of times you don't even understand they're happening. It could be going on behind the scenes with your friends or family, and things being said, gossip, or just their behavior when thoughts of you or conversations of you occur. They can manipulate the situation to go in their favor. So next are calculated outbursts. And usually this happens on a one-on-one situation. The abuser finds you alone, and these outbursts occur. Suddenly it's just an anger or an aggression, usually when no one's around, although they can continue on into a group setting if they've started. So, if it doesn't stop, it can't continue on to where other people are experiencing the same type of outburst with you, but towards you, okay, towards you, and they see it. Controlling behavior, even though they ask you, it tends to be whatever your partner says, whatever your partner wants, and it just happens in that little manipulating actions and the way things occur. It just seems like, okay, I wanted this, but somehow we're doing this. I don't understand how that happened, but I want everybody happy, so it's okay. And, a lot of times you find yourself giving in because you don't want to create a bigger situation. Well, that's not healthy, and that's not normal, and that shouldn't be happening. So, mood swings. Wow. That is easy to see because suddenly, when it's been a great day or something wonderful has happened and all that, and then later on it's just a mood swing and complete opposite for whatever reason. And usually there's an excuse. They have this excuse where they'll say, well, this happened to me. I spoke to this family member and they treated me badly or said these things, or I haven't been able to get in touch with this that I'm trying to do and it's frustrating me. There's always an excuse, but what is not excusable is how the mood changes and swings and just puts this where it becomes everybody's problems, not just their own. That's the thing. It's like constantly they'll say something like, it's not you, it's me, but then everybody's made part of it. So it is, you do get involved. So it's in a mood swing. Can be when they wake up after work. There's going to be excuses, but it's just a difference in a mood. I'm not talking about a normal. Remember, we're talking about abusive behavior, things that occur often, things that are happening, not just, oh, wow, this just happened out of the blue. Oh, I'm abusive. No, this is like a repetitive actions. A lot of times also next is it looking at faults. An abuser will look at your faults, anything that you're wrong, and discipline you like a child, call you out on it. A lot of times it could be just little things, how you clean, how you cook, what you do for work, how you handle stress. And it'll be like, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that, this is wrong. You're just like a child, just treat you like a child. I need to correct you. This is the way this should be done. And that is definitely not a healthy way to have a relationship with a romantic person or a partner. Next is alienation from your friends, from your family, from your co-workers, from anyone that you had strong connections to. And this occurs because sometimes they just try to do everything with you. And they're like, oh, I have to go here. Let's do this. Oh, can I go with you? Can I have this? Can I do that? And it's just, what they're trying to do is alienate you from other people so that you and they are your main focus and no one else is. And also there's a double-edged sword on this. They want you to have no one else to speak to or to turn to as things turn bad, only them. So there's a lot of reasons for the alienation. One, insecurity, feelings of insecurity. They have to be around you. You are their energy source. You are their good feelings. And then they also don't want to have someone to turn to when needed. So you'll find yourself alienated from family and friends, often in abusive relationships. And one thing that I really feel that is a telltale sign for me on someone who is emotionally, mentally, or physically abusive is that there's really no apology. No sincere apology. No sorry. No taking blame. This has happened for me. A lot of the times it's happened because of you. They don't ask for forgiveness because they feel really, I think, deep down that they have done nothing wrong and that you made them this way. And you might hear that sometimes. So no apologies, no ask for forgiveness, no blame taken upon themselves. That is the first little section of my video, and I'm going to pause it now to take some notes and come right back with the second section, which talks about the stages of abuse, that if you find yourself, there are stages that I found occurred in every, bad relationship that I've had. So I will be back with that. Aloha again, beautiful souls. So if you are just tuning in for this section of my video for topic number 2, which is the stages of abuse, an abusive relationship, then welcome. If you are returning, welcome. Thank you for, not welcome, thank you for staying tuned in. Either way, I want to talk to you about the stages. And once again, these ideas, these thoughts, this concept regarding abuse that I'm sharing with you is based on relationships that I have been in and what I've learned from them as an adult when I looked to myself to see what was going wrong or happening in my own life. But I want to share what the stages look like, and this is kind of what went on. This is what went on for me in every stage and different steps, and I kind of just compounded them. So in the beginning of the relationships, it's really like almost too good to be true. You are showered with gifts, you're showered with attention, you're showered with trips, places, travel, sex. There is just an overabundance very quickly. But there's something in you, little things happen, there's something off. Often they'll come right out and tell you, I'm a bad person, don't trust me, I have problems in the past, whatever, they'll tell you it. That is just something that happens oftentimes, but not always. But you have a sense of something off. You start seeing little nuances about their personality, and you're like, this is just not right, but everything else is so good. You're like, oh my gosh, this is so wonderful, that you kind of talk yourself out of what your intuition is telling you. Your intuition is telling you to be careful, take heed, slow down, and you're talking yourself at, telling yourself it's not that bad. It's once things progress, it'll get better. You tell yourself all these little lies to make yourself feel better for staying in the relationship. That's really what happens. It's like we want ourselves to feel better for allowing certain things to happen. So we kind of lie to ourselves. So you might find yourself doing that. I did for sure. What is my suggestion? Get out now. But if you don't, this is what happens next. For me, it really turned out to be a year for each thing. But I know these stages can be a number of years. Many people refer to it as the honeymoon phase. But things started with me changing very quick on my abusive relationships, and it was a year. This wasn't something that grew. You're married 20 years and suddenly you're like, he's abusive. No, you should start saying these things immediately, and I did. Stage 2, what happens? The truth. The truth comes out. Something happens. Something comes out. You sensed it. You may have felt it. You had no real idea of it, but some truth has come out suddenly. And of course, they have an excuse for it. And it sounds logical, and you want to believe it. So that's the kicker. But deep down, you know that there is no excuse for whatever happened, but you allow there to be. So it's this inner struggle that you start in yourself, and you're like, okay, well, let me see, it's not that bad, because you'd been telling yourself it was not that bad in stage 1. You've been kind of looking the other way at certain behaviors, certain actions, certain deeds, words, whatever was said. So you're already once you learn the truth, you've already kind of set yourself up for this, what you've been telling yourself. What can you do now? Get out now. Okay, get out now in the relationship. It's not too late. But if you don't, then you go on to stage 3. Okay, so what is stage 3? Stage 3 is the working on it stage. And that's for me has been the longest stage. in my relationships is the working on it. It's like I can change things back to how they were. We can get back to that. I'm confused because, or you would be confused. I was confused because I loved this person, yet there's this bad treatment and things that are making me sad and just not right, and I shouldn't have to face. So you just try to work on things. How can I make things better? How can I improve this? What can I do? What can I do? And I don't know how long you find yourself in stage 3. It could be a very long time, or it could be a short time. But eventually you look to yourself. That's one thing that can happen, and you realize that you're worth more. Another thing can be that they find someone. They look to someone else. They realize these things are going on as well. That, you may be kind of revealing thoughts that you have regarding their behavior. So they might find someone else. They may go to someone else. They may look for another outlet. What can you do in this stage? Get out now. Okay, get out now. But if you try to work on it, guess what? You're going to get to stage 4, which is, stage 4 is the end, is ending things. If they did something, had an affair, got put in jail, committed a crime, they might do something to end it, but you have to stage 4, and you can jumpstart stage 4 from stage 1. Skip right to stage 4 is to end it now. End the relationship. Take a stand. Speak up for yourself. Realize your worth. If it wasn't this type of relationship, things will get done. The universe, God, the karma, good and bad karma, will take over. If it wasn't meant to happen, if you weren't meant to be apart, then you will not be, and you'll get back together in a deep love connection. But don't hope on that. Don't live for that. Get out. If it's meant to happen, if it's meant to work out, if someone's meant to learn a lesson, those things will occur. You have to make them occur in yourself first. So find your worth. Do what you need to do for yourself. In the relationship, take a stand, speak up, whatever you have to do, share your story. But that is stage 4. So that is pretty much what has happened in my life several times on abusive relationships. Relationships that, although they might not have always been physically abusive, they were mentally and definitely emotional, playing with the strings of my heart energy. So now the next video, if you've stayed in tune, we'll take a short break and I'll come back. But the next video is going to be what do you do now? You just did stage 4. What do you do now? How do you survive? How do you thrive during the end of this, or within, while you're in and you figure out that you're in this abusive relationship? What can you do? So I'll come back in a minute for that. Okay, aloha again, guys. This section of the video is on the topic is surviving. Actually, more than surviving, how to thrive. Thrive when you find yourself and finally realize and admit to yourself and struggle to understand it, that you are in an abusive relationship. How do you survive? How do you thrive? So these are the things that I have used, some in the past, and then some I've learned recently. But there are about 7 things that I can think off the top of my head that you can do to thrive and to survive this and to get out of it and to be better for it and learn and all that stuff. So first of all, I want to say, if you feel that your life is in danger, then of course get out of the situation right away. So that's on the list, but I want to make sure you know that that's like really what I think is the most important one, if it's possible. A lot of times you find yourself that you feel like you might be in danger and you can't. So here are some other things that you can also do if you aren't able to find yourself with the funds to move or a place for your family, whatever the reason. Number 1 is find your energy, find your energy inside. Love, happiness, what you want, kindness. Don't match theirs, okay? Don't match their energy, because their energy is going to be bad. Once an abuser has realized that his their secrets, let me not say his, when you know their secrets, then it really comes out then, and they almost stop at nothing to get a rise out of you and to kind of make you feel what they're feeling. That because abusers have low self-esteem, usually self-loathing, and low self-worth. But don't fall into it. Don't buy into it. Don't match their energy. Find your own and stick to it. Have control over that. Number 2, feel sorry for yourself, not them, okay? Because a lot of times you realize, oh my God, they have this horrible problem, but it's bigger than you, okay? It's bigger than you. They will try to make you believe that it's you. Don't buy into that. It's not. It's a problem they have. So feel sorry for yourself, actually, that you've tried all these things, you've realized, and you've tried to help, and nothing's come out of it, and it's kind of been a disappointment. And what you thought the relationship was going to be like. So feel sorry for yourself. Give yourself compassion. Give yourself empathy. Then that will lead on to the third item, is to repair yourself. Okay, get the help you need. Okay, don't worry about repairing them. That's their journey. Remember that many abusers create a false exterior or superior belief in themselves, but really they're self-loathing and doubtful and live in fear and worry, and you can't change that. You've probably been trying to. They need to get professional help, or they need to find the help in themselves. So you need to repair yourself from all the issues that have occurred in you because you've been dealt abuse. And some of those in that first video that I wrote of, being humiliated, manipulated, controlled, physically abused, alienated from your family. Start repairing yourself, repairing your relationships, repairing things in yourself. Number 4 is seek help. Okay, seek friends, seek families, co-workers, employees, the police, the court, strangers on the street. If you're having an issue with stranger and you find yourself in the middle, ask people for help. Okay, find what's available also around you and use it. Drop the ego and ask for assistance. Be honest in your story. Okay, be honest with people. Tell them the truth. Honesty is the best strategy. So seek help. Number 5, stay strong. Okay, don't give up no matter what. It's hard sometimes. It is a battle. It's an upward battle. And it may be difficult to see the end, but keep your eye on the end. Keep your eye on that. Live that now. Make that what you want for the future, what's happening right now. Keep improving yourself. Keep growing, healing, learning from what is happening. Why did this happen? How did this happen? Research it, dissect it, understand it, get a better feeling of yourself, your sense of strength, your confidence. Stay strong, okay? Work at it daily. Work at it daily. Number 6 is the safety one, and I told you these are in no particular order. If you find yourself that you are fearing for your life, like I said, get out right away. There's nothing worth more than your individual life. So if you feel that, and you can do that. If you cannot, then get a sense of safety. Get distance from the abuser. Distance yourself, whether that's in a move or just in the location of where you are in the living environment you are. If you can stay with friends or family, of course, do it. But if you can't, distance yourself. Remember, you have control. Stay in control. Set up boundaries in how you live your day-to-day life and follow them. If you say, I cannot be around this person alone, then make sure there are no situations that you are alone around that person. So find that sense of safety. Find that safety. Cut off communication. Do what you have to do. Let it go so that you can feel safe. And then number 7 is to forgive yourself. Okay, forgive yourself. You can do this immediately. Forgive yourself for whatever it is, for being gullible, for being too empathetic, for being tricked. Okay, but remember too, when you forgive yourself, something in you made those choices. So don't place blame on them. Look to yourself for what made you, what allowed this to happen in your past, and make sure you forgive yourself, you learn what it is, and you make a promise to yourself that you will not allow it to happen again to you. Okay, don't say to yourself, this is not going to happen again. And then do the things to make sure, which is the next video. And again, I'm going to pause this one real quick, change my little setup just a little bit, get some water, and I'll come back to you for the last section of my video on abusive relationship, which is how do you prevent it from happening again? So how do you prevent yourself from, or how do you just prevent yourself from falling into or getting caught in an abusive relationship? So I will be right back with that. So let me start that over because I wasn't even looking at the video at all. Aloha again, guys. You're on the last section, which is how do you stop the cycle? How do you end the pattern? How do you become more aware of behaviors around you? So this is what I am going to do. And I want you to know, although that I love love, I'm an empath. I love being in love. I love my friends. I love pets. I love my family. I love my romantic partners when I'm in relationships with them. That's part of who I am. So knowing all that stuff, I can say that, wow, I love love. I'm patient. I'm in no way looking for someone out, actively searching or trying to date or do all those things. I believe in divine timing. I believe it's going to happen when it's meant to happen. And this is the first time actually in my life that I've ever been at this space where I can say that. So that in itself, I think, is a great difference in making sure these same type of behaviors don't occur again for me, and I don't get myself in a similar situation because I'm not looking for it. I'm not worried about it. I am completely happy with my life and how I am. But I am prepared. So there's a difference. I am prepared. I definitely wanted to prepare myself because I am hopeful for the future. And I see a soulmate in my future. So I want to make sure that I am ready and who I am to recognize them as well. So what I'm going to do this time is when I begin another relationship or when I'm at that point for that to occur is listen to my intuition and act on it. Don't deny the feelings that I feel myself, and take heed if I do feel strange or any kind of warning signals, I guess I should say, come about, then I need to slow down. So that's one thing, is listen to my intuition. Two, I'm going to involve family and friends in the new. Meet them, make sure that my future partner meets my family, and then ask my family, my friends, whatever, ask them for their opinions and listen to them, think on it, and don't get upset with honesty, but learn from it. So, but ask, because a lot of times, I know this situation happened with my son in a relationship, a short-term relationship I was involved in. I asked him later, I was like, or he mentioned, I never really liked him. I was like, why didn't you tell me from the beginning? Why didn't you tell me? So he didn't tell me because, oh, I saw you happy. I saw you getting out of a rough time or whatever. You were sad. And then suddenly, you were excited about life and things. Well, you have to ask. So ask, is there anything that you think is strange or weird, or this is happening? What do you think on it? So don't keep it all to yourself, but discuss it. Okay. If that's me, if I've had issues with getting involved with, partners that exhibit bad behavior, then I am going to really listen to my friends and family and ask for help and outside sources on the next one. Another thing is on the dating, double date, invite your kids, take someone along. Now, if you have young kids, you don't want them to get attached. I understand that. I have teenagers, and let me tell you something, my daughter is on things, man. She is a great determiner of someone's actions or character. of what they are, and she can kind of read people very easily. So yes, I will definitely take a chaperone around my daughter, or do a double date, or friends or family, or make it a group situation. Why? Because if someone can't meet my conditions on what I put up to going on a date, then they're really not for me, and I shouldn't waste my time on it. So if someone balks at, you're going to bring what? No, I wanted it to be alone, just you and I had something special planned. To say, well, if it's not special for my daughter too, then you're not special enough for me. So that's the way I'm going to go into a future relationship. I'm going to set my own boundaries of what is acceptable for me. Then the fourth thing I want to do is know my weakness. I'm an empath. I love deeply. I love being in love. I love giving love. So if I know that, I have to realize that when things are new, the fun, the excitement, all that enjoyable things that are happening, I have to analyze it, and I have to look to myself too and say, okay, am I enjoying this for me? Is it me? Am I controlling this situation? Is this really coming from my mind? Or is it a union of our thoughts and feelings? You know, do we both feel it? Do we both feel happy? Is it exciting for both of us? And kind of look at that a little bit deeper. Sex is the second part of that, knowing my weaknesses. Abstain from it. That's going to work for me, because sex in the past has equated to a false love, and I'm not going to allow that pattern again. I'm not going to fall for that. I'm not going to fall in love because I have given the physical side of myself to someone too early, and then it's ended up becoming, enforcing some type of love, what I feel is love, when it's really not. And they probably wouldn't have without that. So those are my weaknesses. And then finally, number 5 is to know what you want. Know what does love look like to you. I made a love video. I did that for myself and to show other people what I think love looked like. But what does it look like to you? You know, write down those things. Focus on what you do want in an ideal partner. How do you see an ideal relationship? And then don't give in to anything less, okay? Don't give in to anything less than what you're worth or who you are in your sense of self, what you deserve. And you know what you deserve by your actions, your thoughts, your words, your deeds. If they're kind, if they're loving and generous, then you deserve those same things in return. So be a better self to get a better self, but know what that better self looks like in a partner. Work on yourself and find it in yourself, but also know what it looks like in a partner, and never settle again. There is no rush. There's plenty of time. Things will happen on the divine timing when it's right, if we just have faith and patience and the knowledge that things are meant to be, and all we can do is learn and grow from our mistakes and the things that have happened to us to become a better self. And that's what I'm trying to do. And I hope that this video finds you well. I hope you've gained some information from it. If you feel like you're in an abusive situation, you know, I hope I've given you some guidance on what worked for me. Again, I've just had my own personal experience. These are my own opinions. These are what I've learned in myself from being in bad relationships and often finding myself in one. I want to change that cycle. I want to change that pattern in me, and I am. I've changed it, and I've changed it by being prepared, by looking at the past, by analyzing it, by seeing repeated patterns, by learning about myself, what it means to me, facing my feelings, facing my emotion, facing my participation in it, and what did that mean, what did I do, what could be different, and then now coming up with a plan for now, the here and now. And I think that's what I've done, and I hope this has helped you. And I want to remind you to live aloha again, always in your thoughts, your words, your actions, and your deeds. Just fill them with love, kindness, and generosity, and those things will return to you in abundance. Okay, the energy will come back to you. Give out good energy and you will get out good energy in return. So I hope this video finds you happy and healthy and living at a high level, high frequency level of peace and bliss and just overjoyed. So thank you again for watching my videos. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel and hit the bell for notifications, because a lot of them are going to deal with my relationships, what I've learned as being a woman and job and my career, and then things of Hawaii and just my little experiences, what it's taught me about, you know, how I've grown and what I've learned from it. And I hope to help you or guide you in any way possible. So aloha again, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.